Well, this is the 40-gallon natural gas hot water heater. This is the typical how they start to fail. Is dripping, and usually it's not dripping from any water lines. Usually it's dripping because it's corroded. This water heater is probably, it's very old. Let's see if we can find it. So this is from, I put this in 2008, and it is 2018. So this is 10 years old. Usually they make about 6 years. The reason they die, in my opinion, is sediment in the bottom, and the sediment builds up, creates corrosion, ends up rusting out the inside tank, and they leak. And if you don't notice it and the leak gets big enough, it'll burst and make a heck of a mess. So the first step in changing the water heater is to shut off the water. If you don't have a shut off inside your house, you'll have to go out to the meter and shut it off. When it's in line, it's on. That's off. Somebody's gonna razz me about using channel locks, but it's alright. You'll smell gas, but it's not gonna be bad. And then hook up a garden hose to the drain and drain it. If you don't have a floor drain nearby or in the place where it's at, you can just drain it outside. If you're in the basement, you're gonna have to get a pump and drain it. Luckily, I've got a drain right over here. When you're draining it, you need to make sure you open another faucet in the house. Otherwise, it won't drain very quickly, or it won't drain at all. It's kind of like when you stick a straw in a pop, and you put your finger on top of the straw and you pull it out. It kind of creates like a lock somehow. Oh, and I found something interesting. Today is actually the 25th of August, so this one has survived 10 years pretty much on the button. On the top, we're going to do some work on the vent. Usually they have flex lines and stuff, but you're just going to spend more money on flex lines. It makes it a lot easier. So if you don't have flex lines and you want to put them on, this would be the time to do it. Now they have pecs where you just shove it on and screw it on. It's pretty easy. So we're just going to wait for this to drain. While it's draining, I've decided I'm going to put a sweat ball valve on here. This is the cold side in case I ever just wanted to shut this off. Everything else in the house would be on except for the hot water. And then I got a slip-on coupling for the hot side. The ball valve has nylon in it, so when you sweat it you have to be careful. We'll talk about that. And I don't know if you see how this pipe is bent, but it is. So I'm going to try and find a flat place. That looks like right in here. So I'm going to clean this up. I'll use some cutters. If it's a tight place, you might have to use EMPs, which are cutters for tight spaces. Here's a new water heater. Don't take these out. Ooh. And this. I'm trying to show people how to change your own water heater. Because it's, don't film me, honey. Because it's expensive to change your own water heater, but anybody can do it. So just remember where you took those two sides off. This is the cold, so this is the side we're going to put the shorter piece, the ball valve. And this is liquid Teflon. You could just use Teflon tape. If a little does a little bit, a lot do a lot. And we'll tighten that up with a wrench. And then we'll drag it in there. Put it on. I'm going to go ahead and put the ball valve on. So it's still dripping a little bit. And if it's dripping, it doesn't solder. So I've cleaned both ends and I'm using flux. And you have to use it. Flux tells the solder where to go. So flux both ends of the fitting. Put it up on. Make sure it goes up all the way. I think the reason this is leaking is because it's hanging down so low. So I'm going to get something to prop it up. Just be patient. If you do soldering, let it sit for a minute. A lot of people will wipe it off with flux to cool it down, but I heard that's not good. So we'll let it sit for a minute and fill it up and light it. So this is what happens. This is what you're going to get when you fill your water heater. So when you turn it on and you're filling it up, it's like maybe blowing into an empty 2-liter bottle, and you're just filling it with air. There's no place for the water to really fit in. So right now it's like making this big bubble of gas. So I would suggest just opening a faucet like I showed you there on the hot side. Let all that air get out until you get 40 gallons. See what I'm talking about? That's just air right now coming out. So it's pushing all the air out of the water here into the line. Of course, the cold will work. The cold is fine. So 40 gallons, you can fill about 7 gallons a minute. So you do the math. 40 times what? 7, 14, 21, 28, 35. About 5 minutes it'll take to fill this up. Do not light it until it's full. If you light it when it's empty, it'll ruin it. So we're just waiting for it to fill up. But the good news is it doesn't seem to be any leaks. The burping a lot, but I do like the ball valve there. I think it just filled up, so I definitely need to do something about the venting. So hold the pilot button in and you can hear it light. So the gas has to fill this whole line before it goes in. And I guess the blinking light.
Here you go, Bill.
I don't know.
Did you read the directions?
Nah.
Ay, ay, ay.
So I found out what vac means. I think that means vacation. So you got it here. It's lit. You know, ABC. You turn up here, you're gonna burn yourself. I'd leave it on A, but low and the vac, like you leave it on vacation, turns it off. But it's still got the pilot light lit. But I'm gonna leave it off until we fix that vent.